Hello everybody, today is Tuesday, February 4th, and it's 11:50 p.m. Eastern Time. Just getting around to making today's video. Got a lot to talk about. I am definitely considering trying to qualify for a combine myself, so today I began to explore which time frames and what method I'm going to trade with, and I did take a couple of trades today with the Autotrader in simulation, and I want to show those to you briefly on this chart. This is a simplified version of this chart. I basically have a 500 Heikin-Ashi tick chart, which is done very well with the Autotrader, and I'm using the Precision MA filter with option 2, and if you look down here, option 2 is above or below the average, and I'm using the adaptive moving average. So that's this one here. This is a 60 EMA, the slower moving average, but this one here is the one used by the Autotrader. I'm just using this for a visual on pullbacks, and these are the settings here, 2 and 15. I have it faster than the default, and I'm also using the line break logic. So I've always been into line break, and so I don't know that this is what I'm going to end up using all the time, but I plotted a chart with the line break signals and just having that extra line break confirmation, but I actually traded it. I wanted to show the simple look of the chart first, and now I'll show you how I look at it. So here I have the line break indicator plotted on the chart, and I have it set to show bars. And the reason is because there's a lot of good swings like this. These are tradable swings, and you get your signal here and everything lines up. So this can help with when to turn on the Autotrader. It takes a little practice to learn how to read through the noise, and that's what the moving averages are for, and your support and resistance, and also learning how to be bullish or bearish for the day. So you'll notice even in Jim's videos, there's red bars in the chart, but they're ignored because our bias is long. But there's some great signals here using the bars, and they're all day long, even counter trend trades on a long only day. There's some good trades here. And I'm using the open range as well, I think, on this one. So yes, I am using the open range filter as well, which is keeping me trading in one direction. But I do love the line break signals. As stated, I may or may not stick with this. This is the first day I tried auto trading with my intent to eventually qualify for a combine. And this worked out pretty well. Notice I drew a Fibonacci extension here. This was just to kind of help me with where to set my profit targets, and that worked out pretty good. This kind of 61% area is where it stalled, and it did go a little higher after that, but I'm completely happy with the way this turned out. In the coming videos, I'm going to try to make some more educational videos about finding support and resistance, and talk about a couple of my favorite books that I may be able to share with my clients. I don't want to announce this to everyone, but if you're interested in my 2 or 3 favorite books of all time, and I've read hundreds of books on trading, I don't want to mention here in public because I don't know how many of you will actually go bother to read a book on trading, but there are a couple of good ones that really explain how the market moves between major, medium, and minor degrees of support and resistance, and so forth. So if you're interested in that, shoot me a message. Let's have a look at Trader Jim's video for today. As usual, it's a very good one.
Monday, September 3rd, shortly after Globex Open, trying this long on the Super Renko 6. Be back in a few minutes with explanation why. Okay, I'm back. So, okay, do I have any concerns about this trade? Yes, I do. And it's the same concern that I always have when they don't quite touch my number. They stopped at 75, did not go down to the 60. They stopped at this very obvious 75. I say obvious because if you look to the left on any time frame, pretty much on the left, you're going to see the 75. The 75 was tested. It's an obvious number. Why would they stop at an obvious number? Why not just do the 60? So it could be one of a number of things. One of them is, well, they did not do the 60 yet. In other words, yeah, it looks like they're kind of bouncing, but they really do need to touch the 60, and they will go down and touch the 60. If that's the case, then obviously my trade is in jeopardy and it will get stopped out. The other possibility, which is what I'm leaning on, is that they stopped at the obvious number, 75, and did not touch the 60, my number, because they are simply too strong. I think I've said it before in other videos. This is how I see price action. In a bull market, if they are very strong, they do not actually need to touch the lower zone, the actual number beneath them, because they are so strong. Now, if that's the case, and that's what I'm leaning on, like I said, that's the reason for this trade. If that's the case, if from this point they really do not need to touch 9,060, we will get back up to 91.35, and then it becomes interesting. So again, based on this inability to touch 60, they should not only get to 91.35, 91.95, and that number 92.57. It was on the list of prices important to me for this week from previous video. 92.57 should be touched, assuming then once they get beyond 91.35, continuous hourly closes above 91.35. This is the power of this inability to touch 60. What they're saying is, we are too strong and we do not need to really test that door of 9,060. If that's the case, let's say this trade works out, I will definitely activate the 987 Hakinashi chart on the long side. Just like before, just trading one contract and going for 1,000, because again, I will be looking for the bigger picture play. The bigger picture play, if they cannot touch the 60, they could be going 200 points higher easily. So that's my logic, and that's my play for now. All right, so first target is hit. Really did not take long. Looks like less than half an hour. Oops, gonna set my stop at break even because this is Globex, and again, I am still not completely convinced that they don't need to touch the 60. I've seen it before where it looks like they're getting away from a number only to then come back to it. So at this point, no risk on the trade, and still hoping to complete the full target here. All right, let me quickly adjust the chart. So walked away and got filled on a second half of this trade. Not bad, really. Took about an hour. Not bad for Globex. This template, I think, I don't know if I showed it already, but it's the same template. 2 contracts, looking for $500. No break-evens, no trailing stop. I do those manually if need be. Yeah, so the Autotrader, once again, once I enabled the long side, just looked for a bullish pattern, finds it, takes the trade. Felt just a little bit of heat, but nothing serious at all. And then first target, second target, trade complete. The 987 Hakinashi is activated, looking for a higher. Right, the 987 Hakinashi chart, and this template, trading one contract, is going for 1,000, risking 800. I clicked the Autotrader on longs when I saw this rejection of the lower numbers, and looking for them to go quite a bit higher. Probably not tonight. I mean, just like yesterday, I imagine I'll just let it trade, and you will probably just get the recap of this trade, but really 91.35 is the absolute minimum. They really could just go straight up to 92.57. We'll see how this goes. So the 987 is doing great, still early, 836. The target actually for this trade is right beyond that resistance area. I fully expect the trade to work out at this point. It doesn't look like they need to hit 9,060, and if that's the case, maybe not today, but definitely into tomorrow, they should be able to complete this trade. So we're starting the recording here as we are hitting the target. Oh, I just did it just in time for the Autotrader to hit the target. I did not think it would happen tonight, but here it is. One contract, $1,000. Absolutely amazing. Next to no hit on this trade. Once again, Autotrader just picks that perfect location. It is not even late. Amazing. Wow. As you can see, just picked that long and really felt no heat on this trade. I don't know what to say. I did not think they're gonna fill it tonight, and they did it so quickly. I am getting more and more confident we're gonna see 92.57 into tomorrow. And remember that wild card I was talking about in yesterday's video around 93.46? Well, you know what? All of a sudden, it's not out of the question. I mean, it would require a lot of work, but it's not out of the question. They just look extremely strong. I'm not sure about leaving the 500 tick open range for tomorrow morning. It all depends where they're going to be. Remember, I would not be able, since I will not be home, I will not be able to take a long into 92.57. So if they are there tomorrow morning, there's no way I'll be able to leave the open range running. So I guess we'll see what's going to happen then. Good afternoon. Wow, I am in awe. Look at wow, they came so close to that 93.46 wild card. And when I gave that number for the wild card, I did not see it happening today. Even yesterday, when I was taking those long trades, I mean, I was fairly sure about the 92.57, but you know what? Gotta lay the cards on the table here. I did not see this move coming so soon. I had the feeling it might happen this week, but this is just Tuesday. Wow. So it looks like the high is around 33. So technically 33 does not satisfy the 46. I will explain to you what all this is in a minute. Let me drag over. So I did, as soon as I came home, put the Autotrader on longs on the Super Renko 6. We had this retracement here. Click the longs. This is the regular Super Renko 6 template. One contract, I'm sorry, two contracts, $500 target. So again, since the 33 does not satisfy the 46, I am expecting a move closer to the 46. So let's put this aside for now, though. Yeah, I really wanted to talk about what all this is. So first of all, a great response to the video from yesterday. I thank you. Lots of comments. People are getting involved. This is what we need. So just wanted to go over, I gave some numbers out. Yesterday. And I just wanted to kind of show you how I put it on the larger time frames, just so you see what this is all about. Even in and of themselves, these numbers, these levels are not trades. These are just zones. So, hold on, I'm sorry, it looks like chart is going to get filled maybe on the first target. Let me drag it over. Let's see if we can see it hitting first target.
I'm just going to give it a couple of seconds, and if not, I'll just move it aside. Well, maybe actually I can just move it here and keep talking about this. So the levels, right? So I mentioned 89.70. Here it is, 9,060, 91.35, 92.57. I'm sorry, there is a 91.95 in between the 91.35 and the 92.57. And then, of course, the wild card 93.46. So what I do is I simply draw them horizontal lines on the chart. Now, and please do not attempt to trade this on the live account. I would never want to be responsible for anyone losing money, because there was a lot more to it than just this. But in any case, what you want to start seeing once you do this, and I will be giving the numbers pretty much like every week, and you'll be able to draw them on the chart. What you will start seeing is this tendency of price to go from zone to zone. I call this a move from zone to zone. Zone to zone here, zone to zone here, zone to zone here, and perhaps before the end of the day, zone to zone here. So normally it's not, I mean, it's been kind of a runaway market. Normally it looks a lot more like, zone to zone, and then a retracement back down to the zone. So we almost saw this here, but the price stopped at this kind of a 75 area, which was tested earlier. So this was falling short of a complete zone to zone move. But normally this is what you see, zone to zone here, then zone to zone, zone to zone. So another explanation, I think someone asked me, can you give higher time frames and lower time frames? The major zones, which is what this is always of the higher time frames. For me, higher time frames are 60 minute, 120 minute, 240 minute, and daily. So that's why I don't need to give these numbers out every day. Very often, once a week or at most twice a week is enough, because they're from such large time frames. I do use sometimes areas from like a 5-minute chart, but that's really for a scalping, I guess what I call scalping, anything with like a Super Renko 6, like over here, I call this kind of a scalping kind of deal for quick moves. So for the quicker moves, I might use shorter time frames, but it really would not work because you're always seeing the videos after the whole thing happens. So this, I think, approach is more helpful to you. Maybe you can combine this with your own work as a confirmation. I just asking again, please do not attempt to trade this live. Simply put this on your chart and just watch how price behaves. And after a while, you're going to kind of, see how price behaves around these different zones. And by the way, very often these prices, these zones will overlap with Randy's market profile. You should know, by the way, that, Randy gives you all this, free kind of training. There are places that will charge you thousands of dollars for what Randy is explaining for absolutely free. So, kind of pay attention to his levels in the market profile. I don't, simply because I need clearer charts. I just cannot have a lot of different lines appear. So this works for me better when I just can come up with zones and just put them on. And like I said, very often just a single set of numbers will last for the full week. And sometimes, like for example, if they break the 46 and start continuously trading above it, I will have to see what is over it. Oh, it looks like there was a first target hit on a Super Renko 6. Hitting first target, let's guess break even, just in case. Again, I fully, the 33 just does not satisfy the 46. I find it very hard to believe they would come all the way here, make this amazing move up, and just miss the 46. That is unlikely, but these are markets, and I guess just because something is unlikely does not mean that it won't happen. So Protecting myself here with a break even, but fully expect them to hit the full target. So another thing I just want to explain real fast is there's just a lot to explain, but don't think, see like this, like a straight move up from zone to zone. This is the unusual way of doing it. This is actually a lot more like it. In other words, it's not just a straight ride from zone to zone, either from bottom up or top down. It is a lot more, normally, it is a lot more kind of rangy and choppy. But the idea is every single week, there is at least one move from zone to zone. It's the how they get there that is a puzzle. Just don't expect to see this kind of deal, right? Boom, out and straight through and straight through. This is just a runaway market, and normally this is not what happens, let's say 80% of the time. All right, well, target is hit. We are at 35, still not at 46, but I definitely cannot take longs from this point, so I'm not going to. Very nice trade. So, just this retracement, this was a very obvious kind of a stop run deal, right? I mean, here was the support here, so they just broke it, took all the bulls out, and then shut up over here. The Autotrader did not skip a beat, just caught that long. I just, perfection of execution. Once again, would not be able to do this manually, and at least I would not be able to. Beautiful trade by the Autotrader. And this one is done, and I am done trading. So, I would love to hear any kind of feedback you guys have on this. Draw this on your chart, watch it daily, day after day after day. Like I said, don't use this as an example. This is the abnormal. It's not as smooth as this. Normally, it is a lot trickier. Normally, this is just a different kind of market. Yeah, any questions or anything else, please leave comments at the bottom under the video, and press the like button if you like this, or even if you don't like this, press the like button. See you guys tomorrow.